let's talk about Total Wipeout. So, Total Wipeout began back in 2009 and was presented by Richard Hammond and Amanda Byram, lasted for 5 series and a winter spin-off series. And then in 2012, the show got cancelled. And that was it. It was gone, it was never coming back, that was it, goodbye. Until a couple of months ago, when I'm scrolling through Twitter and I suddenly see an article which says Total Wipeout is coming back, presented by Freddie Flintoff and Paddy McGuinness. Which is kinda ironic considering they now present Top Gear, which is what Hammond used to present. And this got a lot of backlash because of people saying, why don't they just repeat old Wipeout? It's gonna be rubbish. I, on the other hand, thought it's clearly just so there's something on TV during lockdown, and that makes sense. And also, I'm going to take some credit myself for it coming back. There was an article which read that one of the main reasons they brought it back was to do with a sudden spike in people watching Total Wipeout on YouTube, and that's all I apparently do. So, last Saturday, the first episode of Total Wipeout, Freddie and Paddy Takeover, aired on BBC One. It's alright. It's very different. It's 40 minutes. It's old episodes with new commentary from the aforementioned Paddy McGuinness and Freddie Flintoff. And it was okay. For a few things, I thought the pacing was a bit off. And I did miss the presence of Amanda Byram, but I'll get onto that in a bit. And then, having watched it, having thought, yeah, that was a good 40 minutes of television, I made the very large mistake of heading to Twitter. Apparently, I'm the only person in Britain who enjoyed the new series of Total Wipeout. Why can I never agree with anyone on anything? So, a lot of people, as you saw in those tweets, had many problems with the new Wipeout. And I just want to sort of explain why they're wrong. Now, of course, opinions are fine. I'm fine if people didn't enjoy it, as I thought I might not, because I thought it might be a bit weird. However, I just sort of want to explain here why I thought it was good, because there's not enough love for it. Firstly, why does it exist? Clearly, it's to do with the lockdown. The BBC would have thought, we want to put something out on TV because it's quite hard to make content at the moment. If we can use an old show with old footage, that would be great. Now, the next thing you might be wondering, though, is why not just repeat the old episodes? That would have been my preference. Just repeat all the older ones so I can get hold of them. But there's a couple of problems with that. The main one being Richard Hammond. Unless any of you have been living under a rock, a few years ago there was quite a messy breakup between the Top Gear crew and the BBC. So Richard, James and Clarkson all left. So Clarkson got sacked because he punched a producer, and May and Hammond followed him off to Amazon Prime to present the Grand Tour. Fine. However, that means the BBC don't particularly want to show stuff with Hammond, May or Clarkson in, because they've walked off from the BBC, and that's how it works. You don't particularly want to put someone who's gone off to one of your rivals on your thing. It's madness and it is very petty, but that is a thing. Then we get the next problem. The BBC do not own Total Wipeout. So the production company is Initial and the distributor is Endemol Shine Group. No BBC there at all. Neither of those companies are run by the BBC. They are not BBC owned. However, those companies can then go off to the BBC and say, we would like you to broadcast our show, because then the BBC get this cool show called Total Wipeout, and the company get exposure from having been on mainstream TV. So that's the deal. Other shows are like this. So Great British Bake Off was not owned by the BBC, which was why when the contract ran out and the BBC pissed off the company that made that, they went off to Channel 4. That's another video entirely. So, the BBC don't own Wipeout, which means they would have to do things by the rules of that company. So, they can't just release new footage. They can't just release footage. They'd have to create it as a new show. However, so they don't want Hammond. It's a new show now. Let's do this show again. We'll just replace Hammond. But what about Amanda Byram? Oh yeah. Because this is now classed as a different show, Amanda Byram's contract did not state this show would be part of it. Which means if they wanted Amanda Byram, they would have to get a new contract up for her appearance in this show and probably pay her a lot of money for nothing, basically, because it is just for using the footage of her other appearances on that other show, because it has to be classed as a different show. I hope some of that made sense, but basically it means they wouldn't use Hammond because he ditched the BBC, and therefore they can't use Byram because that would require a new contract. It's the same reason why in this run of 6 they're definitely not going to show any celebrity specials, because their contracts were signed on for that show and not the Freddie and Paddy Takeover, which has to be classed as a different show. Was it actually any good though? I thought it was alright. I enjoyed it as 40 minutes of television. It was a bit weird and the pacing was all over the place, but I didn't particularly miss Hammond because I thought Freddie Flintoff and Paddy McGuinness were good enough replacements. The person I missed the most was Amanda Byram, but like I said, that wouldn't really be possible without paying her lots of money for doing no extra work. Maybe Amanda Byram didn't want to be part of it. We don't know if they approached her or what. So yeah, so other than a few minor issues, I enjoyed it. And for those people who didn't enjoy it, which I know is valid, if you didn't enjoy it, fair enough. You can still watch all the old ones if you want. They're dotted all over the internet. It's not a case of, this is the only thing I have to watch, this is madness. This isn't the 1980s where nothing was repeated and there was no way of tracking down these copies. There is every possible way of watching these episodes. Such as, an example is Red Dwarf. They remastered series 1 and 2 a while back, but I don't watch those ones, I watch the original ones. Once you remaster something or redo something, it doesn't mean the original doesn't exist. You don't need to get angry on Twitter. You can say, I wasn't up to scratch, but don't act like it's the end of the world. It's not. It's just a TV show. Don't forget to subscribe to the official Dr. Dan Alsop YouTube channel.